In a quiet French village surrounded by winding cobblestone streets and lavender fields, there lived a curious little boy named Max. He had messy brown hair, round glasses, and a backpack always filled with books and snacks. Max loved reading more than anything. He would sit under trees, in cafes, or even by the bakery window with a baguette in hand, nose deep in a book. One foggy morning, Max followed a butterfly into the woods behind his grandmother's cottage. He had never been that far before. As he chased the fluttering wings through the trees, he tripped over a root and tumbled down a small grassy hill. When he stood up and looked around, he gasped. In front of him stood a giant wooden door built into the side of a hill covered in moss and ivy. On it, carved in large swirly letters, were the words, "The Grand Library of Everwhim." Max pushed the door open. It creaked slowly, revealing a warm golden glow. He stepped inside and gasped again. Bookshelves stretched higher than castle towers. Glowing ladders moved on their own. There were floating candles, whispering pages, and books that flapped like birds. Suddenly, a huge shadow moved between the shelves. Max ducked behind a stack of books. Out stepped the biggest giant he had ever seen, tall as a tree, with soft woolly clothes and round glasses perched on a nose the size of a teacup. "Ah," said the giant in a deep, friendly voice. "A visitor. How wonderful." Max peeked out. Who are you?" "I'm Gustave, the guardian of this library," said the giant with a smile. "And who might you be, little book explorer?" "Max," he said. "I love books." "Well then, Max," said Gustave, "you're in the right place. Welcome to the Giant's Library. Every book here takes you on a real adventure. But remember, you must return before the last page ends or you might get stuck in the story forever." Max's eyes sparkled with wonder. Gustave reached for a glowing book titled The Kingdom of Flying Carpets and handed it to Max. As soon as Max opened the book, a swirling wind blew around him. The pages flipped fast, and suddenly he was flying above colorful cities on a magical carpet, racing against cloud dragons and dancing in the air with laughing children. Then, poof, he was back in the library. "Whoa!" Max exclaimed. "That was amazing!" Gustave chuckled. "Would you like another?" Max nodded eagerly. Max read book after book. He rode a pirate ship on chocolate seas. He danced at the moonlight ball with a talking fox. He even solved riddles with a laughing rainbow-colored owl in the mountains of mirth. But with each new book, the clock on the wall ticked louder. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Gustave gently tapped Max on the shoulder. "You must leave before the last book ends." Max blinked. "Just one more, please." Gustave sighed but smiled. One last adventure. He handed Max a silver-covered book titled The Way Home. Max opened the silver book. A bright light surrounded him. He found himself in a foggy forest with talking trees. "To return," said the tallest tree, "you must solve the riddle. I have no voice, yet I tell stories. I have no feet, yet I take you places. What am I?" Max thought hard. "A book," he shouted. The trees cheered, and a path lit up with golden stones. Max ran down the path, but the pages were flipping faster now. The book was almost at the end. Just before the last page turned, Max leapt through a glowing archway and tumbled back into the library. Max landed with a thud at Gustave's feet. The book snapped shut behind him. "You made it," said the giant, chuckling. "Well done, Max." Max looked around. The library was glowing warmly, and the candles floated down to say goodbye. "I don't want to leave," said Max, hugging a small book. "You'll always be welcome," said Gustave. "But remember, books are not just in libraries. They live inside your imagination, too." Max nodded. "Will I ever see you again?" Gustave smiled. "Every time you open a book, I'll be there." Max stepped out of the door and looked back, only to see a grassy hill again. The library door had vanished. He walked home with a heart full of wonder and a small golden bookmark shaped like a giant's footprint. That night, Max told his grandmother everything. She smiled and handed him a cup of cocoa. "You've always had an imagination, my dear. But sometimes I wonder, maybe the library found you." Max sipped his cocoa and opened a new book. And just for a second, he thought he heard Gustave's voice in the wind.